So when I hear my beloved sister Michelle Obama says, America ain't ready for a woman president, respect her and then confront the fact that numbers tell a very, very, very different story, Sister Michelle.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine.
Peace and blessings, everybody, and welcome to the Publisher's Desk, powered by Black Westchester Magazine, blackwestchester.com. And I'm the publisher of Black Westchester, Damon K. Jones. And before we get into this, I just want to, for the record, because I know what I'm about to say in this show, some people are going to get upset and they're going to try to say I'm attacking women, but that's not the case at all. We're just here to set the record straight. Now, when it comes to Michelle Obama, I respect her. I respect the things that she and her husband have accomplished in giving Black people, man, bump that, giving the world an example of a powerful Black couple, giving an example of a powerful Black family for the world to see in the White House. I admired her, that woman who spoke fire and truth shaped by Reverend Jeremiah Wright when she talked about the struggle and community and accountability. That Michelle spoke directly to the lived reality of Black America. But today, something has changed, brothers and sisters. We have entered in a political moment where everything is filtered through identity politics. And that's very dangerous. It's not good for women. It's not good for men. And it's not good for the Black community, a community that have received nothing of substance after decades of political loyalty. So when I hear my beloved sister Michelle Obama says, America ain't ready for a woman president.
Be president? Well, as we saw in this past election, sadly, we ain't ready. That's why I'm like, don't even look at me about running, because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. You are not. So don't waste my time.
We need to take a pause. Respect her and then confront the fact that numbers tell a very, very, very different story, Sister Michelle. Kamala Harris received the most votes ever cast for a woman in U.S. history. America been ready. The issue wasn't her gender. The issue wasn't even her color. The issue was policy, priorities, and performance. See, when our sister said, don't ask me to run because y'all ain't ready for a woman. See, Sister Michelle and other women who may applaud that, that's feelings, but the facts don't support the statement. Kamala Harris outperformed Hillary Clinton's 2016 turnout. She surpassed her own 2020 vote totals, won strong support among suburban women, independents, Black voters, delivered the Democratic Party best showing since Michelle's husband in 2008. This proves the point. America was ready for a woman. Voters just wasn't ready for the Democratic policies that she was conveying throughout the nation. The gender excuse falls apart the moment you look at data. See, voters wasn't rejecting a woman. They were rejecting pain, instability, and uncertainty, Michelle. The math is brutal. Groceries was up 20 to 30%. Rent was up 25% in many cities. Mortgage rates nearly doubled. Crime was rising. The border was in chaos. Families squeezed without no relief. See, Harris made a strategic political mistake that cost her the trust of multiple demographics. She never separated herself from Joe Biden's unpopular policy positions at home and abroad. On Israel and Gaza, Americans, especially young voters and the Black community, wanted a balance and a humane stance from Kamala Harris, but she stayed silent and aligned with Biden on economic relief. She didn't give a fresh version to separate herself. And to be fair, Kamala Harris is a high-achieving, intelligent, historic figure. See, but the voters don't judge by symbolism. They judge by results and outcomes. And Kamala, with all her positives, she didn't give a new path, Michelle. It was just more of the same. Trump is bad. The orange man is bad. The Republicans are racist. But she didn't have a plan. Not even wanting to address reparations. Something neither you or your husband did.
So by default, it affects Black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country.
So what Black communities saw was the same. See, now let's look at the campaign. The campaign ignored major trust issue, Kamala Harris' record as a California Attorney General. See, nobody wanted to talk about that, but a lot of people had it in the back of their mind. Michelle, the truancy laws pushing low-income parents, tough prosecutions in Black and brown communities, a progressive rebranding that didn't match the actual record that she had, because she never addressed it directly. Voters never got clarity. And we never forgot this exchange.
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about re-entering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response,
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you were in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator Harris.
My entire career, I have been personally opposed to the death penalty, and that has never changed. And I dare anybody who is in a position to make that decision, to face the people I have faced, to say, I will not seek the death penalty. That is my background. That is my work. I am proud of it. I think you can judge people by when they are under fire, and it's not about some fancy opinion on a stage, but when they're in the position to actually make a decision, what do they do? When I was in the position of having to decide whether or not to seek a death penalty.
Here's the reality our sister Michelle Obama completely skipped. See, black men did not step back because Kamala Harris was a woman. Black men stepped back because their concerns were ignored. And then they were attacked for even asking. See, anytime a black man questions men and women's sports, rising crime, border competition affecting black male workers, inflation, Gaza, school performance, the family breakdown, and economic opportunities for black men and young black men. See, instead of answers, where black men were labeled, they were dismissed, shamed, accused of misogyny for simply thinking critical about policy and how it affects them and the communities that they live in. So let's tell the whole truth, Michelle. We didn't just get attacked by commentators. We got attacked by your husband.
And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
See, that wasn't leadership. That was political punishment that was put on black men.
And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable. This shouldn't even be a question.
But at the end of the day, the majority of black men that came out on election day, they came out and they voted for Kamala Harris. So it wasn't her gender. They were rejecting the idea that they should not question government or have an independent thought that we could even talk about policy among our black sisters without being attacked. Now, Michelle Obama, I hope that you have just as much heat for white women. The same heat. See, here's a political fact. The media refused to stay out loud. But we're going to talk about it here on the publisher's desk because that's what we're here for. married white women is the largest voting group in the country. And they shifted away from Harris too. Not because they hate women, they're women. Not because they want a man in charge. And not even because they're racist. But they didn't want the cultural agenda that the Democratic Party was pushing, that undermines family stability, that treats men as optional or unnecessary, that encourages women not to need men, that rejects masculine responsibility and pushes an anti-family identity politics. That's why white women went with Trump family values, with all his faults. Because these women want husbands, not enemies. They want strong sons who can lead households. They want stable communities. They want married-centered homes and economic opportunities for their children. They weren't interested in identity politics and being an independent boss chick branding. They wanted traditional stability, not ideological social experiments, which is what we see in the Democratic Party. And that shift had nothing to do with sexism. It had everything to do with family and future of communities. And also understand, Michelle, that the coalition that y'all thought y'all built collapsed. Young voters fell off. Latino men fell off. Working class voters fell off. Black men fell off. Even parts of the black women vote softened. And Asian voters they ain't say nothing. They was just ghosts. See, when every demographic moves in the same direction, the problem isn't the voters, it's the leadership and policies. You can't fall back and say it because it's a woman. Didn't women just win in New Jersey and Virginia? Didn't they, Michelle? And if I'm not mistaken, there were women in other communities that were elected. Some of them the first black woman to be in some cities and towns. So what you're saying is faulty. And I'm not saying this to jab my sister Michelle. I'm saying that we can't keep playing these type of games, especially from someone like you that has the platform to be a unifier, not a divider. This is not good. See, America is ready for a woman president because we have elected a woman at every level of power in America. But what America isn't ready for and what black people are tired of is policies that fail. Leaders who don't adjust when people are hurting. Emotional manipulation, identity politics over common sense, demonizing voters because they have a different opinion, disrespecting men or women, and neglecting the black community while expecting blind loyalty. Michelle Obama is respected, rightfully so. But at this point, she's going down the identity politics road to no return. It wasn't sexism. It wasn't misogyny. It wasn't bias. It was the policies. It was the outcomes. It was the priorities. And it was the refusal for the Democratic Party to listen to the people's pain, period. And if you don't want to change that, no matter who the Democrats run, it could be Casper the Friendly Ghost. You keep the same policies, you're going to keep on losing, Michelle. You keep playing identity politics, you're going to keep on losing. You keep pitting men against women, you're going to keep on losing. You're going to keep losing. So let's stop this mess and let's talk about bread and butter issues. Let's talk about building strong marriages. Let's talk about having good education. Let's talk about respect and honor between men and women. Let's talk about how do we make our communities a safe place to live and have economic development, and especially in Black communities. Let's have these type of conversations than this identity politics bullshit. Don't you think that we had enough of that? Again, I say it with love. Because I believe as Black people, no matter what side of the aisle that you're on, the goal is to work together to make our communities a safe place to live. To make our communities sacred, safe, and busy. Sacred meaning we loving God and we loving each other and respecting each other. Safe, that we have good public safety. And busy, that we're having a fundamental understanding of economic development and creating Black businesses in our community so we can employ each other and lift each other up. If we're not talking about those things on forums, then we ain't doing shit. So thank you again for listening. If you found value in this breakdown, hit a like, subscribe, share. This is the Publisher's Desk, and this is how we rock. I'm Damon K. Jones. I'm the publisher of Black Westchester magazine, blackwestchester.com. Please go to our website, support us. We got these new shirts, the Publisher's Desk. We got other shirts. And check out our articles on our website. We're not just a YouTube channel. We're an actual newspaper, a Black newspaper out of Westchester County, New York. So help us, like, share, join, support independent Black media. And as always, be safe, be blessed, and stay Blacktastic. Peace out.
Tired of the same emotional politics that lead nowhere. Emotional Politics, Logical Failure by Damon K. Jones is the book Black America needs right now. It exposes the lies, challenges the gatekeepers, and calls for real strategy, not just symbolism. Power starts with truth. On sale, now, and available in audiobook on Amazon.
Tolerance is for Cowards by Damon K. Jones. This book is not anti-police, it's pro-community. Discover how the extended policing strategy empowers you to demand real public safety, justice, and accountability from your local police department. Because the Black community deserves good policing. On sale now on Amazon and Audible. Discover Jesus and Divine Black Masculinity by Damon K. Jones. This a bold blueprint to restore faith, manhood, and purpose in Black America. Because the Black community needs good Black men. Available now on Amazon. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like and share it with others who need to hear the truth. And for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes access, join the Black Westchester Magazine YouTube membership club today. Your support helps us keep independent Black media strong. Support independent Black media with style. Rock Black Westchester merch and represent the news with the Black point of view. Every purchase helps us speak truth to power.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.